Hi there, Lily with the Website Chicks. Here, I want to show you the back end of a Square site that we did for this business. This is a local stems farm. So we did this website, and as you know, Square sites can be a little bit tricky. So I wanted to walk you through the back end of how we designed this website section by section. So let me here take you back to the back end of Square. So here's the back end of Square. If you own a Square site, I'm sure you're familiar with this side. But here on the left-hand side is where we have all the different sections, and I'll walk you through each one by one. So on the top section here, Square has these different layout options that you can switch between. The one that I usually tend to go to 9 times out of 10 is logo on the left, navigation on the right. And if you click on any of these elements, you have the option of hiding them. So we can hide. If you click on that, we can hide the cart icon. We can also hide the search icon. And then for the navigation, once you click there, you won't be able to edit the navigation, which is a little bit tricky. You'd be able to just edit the layout, but in order to edit the links, you have to go back here and click on edit links. And here's where you go to make any changes on how you want that navigation to look like. So as you can see, these are sub navigation links that are shown right below the shop page. So here's where you control that. Now, moving on to the hero section. So Square has these different preset layouts through, and the one that I chose for this one was this one here where we have an image background. So to add that image background, we go ahead and click on the slide here, and then here is where you want to edit the picture. You can click these little 3 dots and you can replace and upload if you want to swap the photos. I will say Square sites are really driven by how you use the pictures. I'll show you where we incorporate Canva or things that we design in Canva and then export it through PNGs for transparency and then upload them here. You'll see that. But the hero section, here's the headline, text, and then the shop now button. You can enable the secondary button, but for this site, we decided just to go with one primary button. Now, section right below that is a featured item section. I love this section because you can highlight the main things that you're trying to sell. Basically, think of the things that are already selling or the things that you don't want people to go through and try to find to buy something from your website, right? You want the front and centered, and since the home page is the page that's going to get visited the most out of your website, you want to make sure that you have those products there. So here, I always like to do a custom selection. You do have the option of doing most popular, recently ordered, recommended, but the custom selection allows you to go ahead and add featured items however you would like to display them. So here we can select them and we can move them around like so. So here's the featured item section. You have these different settings. This is a live site, so I'm not going to click around to show you. That's for a different video, what these different layouts look like. But you can't go wrong with this simple layout. Right below that is this just text. So there's 2 layouts. There's text on the left, and we just decided to go with a headline and center that here, which you can see in the alignment. These color styles here, you can, anytime you're working through the site and you want to modify them, you can click on edit color styles and it'll take you to the different color style options that you can further customize the background, the title, paragraphs. That's usually one of the first things I do when I start a website, a Square site build, is set the fonts and the colors. But you can always change those as you go. I would definitely just recommend to have your presets here so you can reference them as you go through building your site. Now, right below that, here is a text and image section, and you can see as I'm clicking through the different sections, you see that the left-hand side panel opens up and you're able to see how that section or what different settings for that section. But if we click done, we see that all of these are just different, like that's featured items, that's a text, That's text and image. So you can see that anytime you want to replicate, what you can do is click these three dots and click duplicate if you want to duplicate that section and modify it. Or another way to do it is just click here, add section. And once you click there, you'd be able to select what type of section you want to add. So moving on, as you can see, a lot of these are text and image. They're just used a little bit differently, right? Because we do have these different layouts that we can choose from. Now this, after this is also a text and image, but for this one is kind of similar to the hero section that we had up top. It is just text with a background overlaid on an image. So click on it. If you ever have trouble finding like where the background image is, I would scroll down all the way to the bottom or click into any of the elements because it can get tricky of like, you know, sometimes I think it's in a section or nested in a subtab. Anyways, click in it and then you can go ahead and scroll and see where that image, the background image, you can replace if you need to. I always recommend social proof on all websites. Anything, right, that shows that you've done this before or what other people are saying about you. Okay, now this is a short blurb. I recommend keep it short because you can always add pages to our story or about us. And this section right here, this is a simple text on the left, image on the right layout. Again, it's a text and image type of section. However, for this section, if we click on the image, you'll see here that this image is a Canva design. So that's my tip for building Square sites, is that any graphic that you want to bring into your Square site to like just add a different design, an element that maybe we won't be able, that actually most likely you won't be able to do different layers in Square, you can just export the image from Canva and import it into your Square site. So that's what we do a lot, or I personally do a lot in hero sections, and just have like 2 or 3 different sort of image treatments in Canva and export them and add them to your site. So as you can see, this really adds a nice touch, makes it look not like it's not a Square site, and it just adds a little bit more a different vibe to it, different look and feel. And then we can enable, we've enabled the button. You also have the option of secondary button, but here we just have headline, text, and image on the right. Now, right below that, this is also text and image. As you can see, a pattern of text and image, text and image, and text and image. This is the same sort of section, just using a different layout. So don't be afraid to use different variations of that throughout your website, because you don't want the same thing repeating, or you don't want your whole website to like look the same. You want it to feel a little bit different, as you want to like certain sections to stand out, or maybe the way that you're using your images, right? That plays a huge role. So for this photo, I absolutely loved it. The first time I saw it, I was like, I have to use it like this, because I saw that the white background just bleeds in nicely into the section above, and it just makes it look really nice. And it just makes it stand out. So here is that image. If you click on it, and if it takes more than one click, just click through and you'll eventually land on when that image, where you can, where it's sourced, and where you can replace or edit as needed. So I'm going to click back here. One thing to note, you do have different options of height. So I would play with these, as you can see. And I would always also make sure that I'm looking at mobile. So for mobile, all of these sections might view a little bit different. So just be cautious about that. Like for this one, here, for example, it's not much different, but for other sections, I would pay attention to how that looks like on mobile, since more than half of your visitors are going to come from mobile. Right, then right below that, we kept the same background color, and here's just a gallery of images. So this is just a nice way. Honestly, it's one of my favorite layouts. It's an image gallery section. You do have these 6 different layouts, but personally, I think this one, especially when we go to mobile, if we click here and click on mobile, here and go back to that section, you see it works very much like social media or like Instagram, right? Where people see these arrows and you can see a little bit peek of the next image. So then that kind of prompts to swipe and look at the rest of the images here. And you can add more like so. I'm going to go back desktop mode. All right, and then right below that, here is just an about section. This is not a text and image section. This is just a simple about section. And then in this section here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different layouts, and you can center or you can align left or right align the text, as well as change the background color or use an image. For us, we just did this. If you click on edit, you see that is the background image. And again, I'm using this from Canva. So you can modify things on Canva. You can download backgrounds, overlays, group different images together to really, here we go, to really level up your Square website. So here's that. I always recommend call to action. And then right below that is the footer. So here we have the logo. You can do it text only. I always like to make sure I stick to the logo. Just make sure that if the background is dark, that it's light and it's a PNG, so then it stands out from the rest of the background. Navigation, when you click onto it, you can select same as header navigation or customize the navigation as you would like. A lot of these options are just toggled on. So you can go ahead, I have all of these toggled on, but you can remove them, modify them, or decide what you want to display. But all in all, here is the final site, what we have. So I hope that was helpful. And yeah, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and I'll see you guys on here next time. Thanks.